Every wild animal alive runs on the same core instruction. Humans are the threat. Keep your distance. That's not paranoia. Statistically, we're the deadliest thing most species will ever encounter. So when a wild animal does the opposite, that it closes the distance instead of running, that's not a small glitch. That's an animal overriding the one rule that's kept its entire lineage alive. December 2005, off the California coast. A crab fisherman spots a humpback whale barely able to move. Rescuers find her wrapped in roughly 20 crab pot lines, hundreds of pounds of gear dragging her under. One line cinched so tight it's cutting into her skin. For nearly an hour, divers cut her free with curved knives while an animal large enough to kill every one of them with a single tail strike simply holds still. When the last rope falls away, she doesn't bolt. She circles back and nudges each diver before finally swimming off. One of the rescue divers, James Mosquito, later said it felt like she knew exactly what had happened to her. This is the first case. Let us see the second case. The dolphin that kept coming back. This isn't a one-off. In 2013, off Hawaii, a wild bottlenose dolphin swam directly into a group of night divers with fishing line wrapped around its fin and a hook near its mouth. It held still while a diver worked the hook free, and when the pain got to be too much, it surfaced for air, then came straight back to the same diver to finish the job. 4 minutes next to strangers on its own breathing schedule. That's not nothing. Let us go to the third case. When it's not a crisis at all, not every version involves danger. In parts of Africa, a small bird called the greater honeyguide actively leads human honey hunters to wild bees' nests it can't safely break into alone. Researchers tested a specific human call used in Mozambique, and it roughly doubled the odds the bird would lead them to a hive. Nobody's hurt here. It's a working relationship between two species, refined over what may be hundreds of thousands of years. So what's going on? Are these animals making a calculated judgment that in this one moment, the most dangerous species on the planet is safer than the alternative? For a long time, most biologists wouldn't touch that idea. It sounded too much like wishful thinking dressed up as science. The leading explanation is quieter, and it doesn't require the animal to understand us at all. It's associative learning. An animal doesn't need a concept of help, just a pattern. A whale trapped for hours, slowly losing the ability to breathe, reaches a point where fear of drowning outweighs fear of a strange shape in the water. Stillness near something large becomes worth the risk, human or not. It's not reasoning about kindness. It's a much older calculation. Anything that might relieve the pressure is worth trying. But that doesn't explain why it's always the same handful of species. Whales, dolphins, and elephants are 3 of the only animals confirmed to recognize individuals across years, form bonds outside their immediate family, and in the case of dolphins and elephants, pass a mirror self-recognition test. Researchers argue a brain built for tracking long-term relationships might also generalize trust. Take one safe encounter with a human and cautiously extend it to a totally different one. Not comprehension. A loose category. This didn't hurt me last time. Here's the less magical part. Researchers who study these encounters are careful to point out that humans are extremely good at reading intention into behavior that isn't there. A dolphin surfacing near a boat might be reacting to engine vibration, not seeking anyone out. A whale circling back might just be doing what whales already do after any disturbance. Confirmed cases of an animal deliberately targeting a specific human are genuinely rare. A lot of what circulates as a heartwarming rescue is ambiguous footage with a story added on top of it. For every documented case of an animal approaching a human, far more die from the exact same entanglement or wound and never come near a person at all. These stories are outliers, not typical behavior. Most real rescues don't even start this way. Elephant snare wounds are usually found because ranger teams are actively out searching, not because the elephant walked up to a vehicle. The approach for help stories go viral precisely because they're the exception. So maybe the pattern isn't that these animals understand humans are uniquely able to help. Maybe it's that the same wiring that lets an elephant grieve a dead calf or a dolphin stay beside an injured podmate occasionally spills outward toward a species it has every reason to avoid. Trust isn't the default setting for any wild animal. It's built over millions of years and erased by a single bad encounter. So when it shows up anyway, even for 4 minutes, it tends to appear in the species that can afford to bend the rule that's kept them alive. We don't know exactly what's happening inside a whale held down by 100 feet of rope. We just know that somewhere out there right now, an animal with no reason to trust us is choosing to anyway.